watching NotesIn9.
Hello, and welcome to NotesIn9. I'm David Leedy. Episode 142, adding a please wait to XPages. Chicago is the middle child of America. Not as important as New York, not as hip as Los Angeles, but at least they have great hot dogs. Wow. Okay, that's all I want to say about show 141, which was the Java versus JavaScript throwdown. Was the last show that came out on NotesIn9, and I got a lot of great feedback, and I really appreciate all of it. There's a lot of comments on Twitter and email and on the blog. A bunch of people said it was the best NotesIn9 show to date, which was really kind of astounding to me. And it was record-breaking, and I believe it was the fastest show I've ever had to hit 500 downloads in less than 24 hours. And it taught me something that I have now learned, that you all like my children better than you like me, which is quite okay because I feel the same way. So hopefully maybe I'll work them in on the show again, but I do want to thank everyone for your kind comments regarding them as well. So, just to reiterate a couple things from the show, some leftovers, if you will. I am not interested in a Java versus JavaScript debate. Quite honestly, it's not about the tools to me. It's about the applications. It's about solving business problems. I do believe that Java is a tool that should get into your toolbox at some point, or at least be on your radar. And I believe that if you're a developer, that's the job to at least want to learn. You might not always be able to pull it off. I know I can't for all the things I want to learn, and I need a lot of help to get by, which we're going to talk about on this show, quite honestly. And but again, I want to learn. I hope you want to learn. That's what it's all about for developing. There's going to be a lot more Java to come to NotesIn9. There's going to be a lot more, hopefully, JavaScript to come to NotesIn9, just like today's show is based on client-side JavaScript. But I do want to mention this just because it's just happened on this past Friday, quite honestly, is that the day job, I have a bunch of business objects. So just like the Domino backend API is kind of pretty handy. The OpenNTF API, if you're using that or able to use that, that's pretty handy too. I have made a business API, I guess, and we do things like I've got objects to represent jobs, to represent shows, to represent items. Now, item's a dumb name. I gotta change that. But an item to me is like a package or a piece of freight, something with properties. It's a physical piece of something like that. And what we have is an inventory database, and we're attaching pictures in the Notes client, a pure Notes client application so far. And we're just basically file attaching all these huge pictures to all these items. And like one item might have six megapixel or 6 megabyte picture. So I mean, it's big. It's a pain in the butt, quite honestly. And I gotta do something about that, and I haven't gotten there yet. And the task came on the radar, a very high priority task, is we had to show these pictures on the website and let the customers see, have like a repeat control report with a thumbnail of these pictures. Well, I didn't have it in me to try to address this on disk yet. So to solve the immediate need is we're going to just resize the picture and send that down the browser. And we can't use JavaScript for that, because then if JavaScript got involved, you'd have to send the whole picture down there. You have to have the server do that part. So we have to use Java for this. And the server, for at least the short term, is going to have to take this hit just to meet this immediate need, right? So how do you do this? I didn't quite know how to do it. I know you could do it with Java. So Declan Lynch, my friend and boss, and much smarter guy than I am, helped me dive into the MyPick code, which we've both spent a fair amount of time in for day job needs, to just pull out the bits we needed, the Java bits needed to shrink the picture down and throw it up on the website. So what was really kind of interesting, though, is because I had this core business API of all these objects, Declan commented himself, saying that we probably saved hours getting this task done because we didn't have to rebuild everything, because I already had methods in there to give me all the attachment names on a document, or all the whole file path name, and things like that. So I do still believe, and you're not going to change my mind on that, is if you put your core business logic into Java, in the long run, you're going to be better off, and it will speed things up. I saw this in the Lotus script world, and I see this in the Java world. That, again, you make your own API, and life gets better. And we'll be talking about the picture shrinking later on in some show, I'm sure, and probably the API stuff later on in some show. So that's all I really have to say about that. Is Java's a tool that you might want to add to your toolbox. Okay, but forget about all that Java crap today. My town doesn't even have a Starbucks. Do you know that? It doesn't, which is good because I don't drink coffee anyway. But I do like an occasional hot chocolate. So we're going to talk about the Dojo standby control today, which is built into your XPages. And the goal of using this control is to show the user a waiting screen if needed. And hopefully your app doesn't need to use these that much, but sometimes it has to process things, and there's a wait, and you don't want the user to click on things while the server is, oh, I don't know, converting six megabyte pictures down to 100 by 100 pictures. So that does take a fair bit of time, depending on what's going on. But the user likes to know that something's working. So Devin Olson, another friend and coworker, got some code that originally internally came from Mike McGarrell, and he's got a project on OpenNTF that uses this this refreshing wait screen business. I forget the name of his project. I guess if I was a better podcaster, I would have looked it up and put a link in here. But it's something to do with view filtering. He's got a custom control in OpenNTF that we use internally. That's really good. Now I don't know if he got it from somebody else originally, because I do love to give credit wherever credit's due. I know Tommy Valand has posted on I think what he had called the partial refresh hijacking, which I think is this technique, but I'm not sure. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use some client-side JavaScript to throw up a waiting screen when the server is busy doing a full refresh. Now, I've not done the partial refresh yet, but that'll probably come to a future show. So with all that said, let's go to the demo. Okay, so if we go to xpagescheatsheet.com and scroll down here and click on Standby, we're at a new page I worked on, and apparently I screwed up the layout, but that's not relevant to this demo. So if we click on refresh, see how the standby, which is a dojo.standby, came on, and the time will change. This is a full page refresh, and when it occurs, the dojo.standby comes on. So let's see how that works. First, we're going to have a script library standby here, and if we look at this, there's a couple functions, and again, I got this mostly from Devin Olson, who I believe got it from some internal code from Mike McGarrell, who possibly got it from Tommy Valand or some other people that I'm not aware of, or he came up with it by himself. I really don't know. And once I do, I'll give credit where credit is due. But basically, there's a couple functions here. There's the isBlankString, which is kind of self-explanatory, and then there's show standby target ID, and then hide standby ID. Okay, and then if you go to the X page, look at source, I've added this div down at the bottom, which has a name, and it's currently div new request standby 1, and it has a dojo data dojo type of dojo X widget standby, and then data dojo props target, and then this is the key right here, my div, and then on the page in this area I have a div called my div right here. So this is what's going to get hidden. Nothing else is going to get hidden. So it basically takes this and hides this, right? Okay, and of course you've got to add some resources here. This is important because quite honestly, I forgot this at first. So you need the dojo stuff, and then you need the script library for the standby JavaScript. And if we look at the button here, that does all the work. The key part is you've got some client-side JavaScript involved here, and what that does is it calls show standby, and it passes in that new div, that kind of like hidden div at the bottom to that, and then it does its work. And then the server-side JavaScript, or I just have a counter in there right now to take a delay, would call you whatever your server code you have, whether it's server-side JavaScript or Java or at functions or whatever it is. Okay, so that's you trigger it on using this the show standby function from that script library. And again, this can be used in a partial refresh. I just haven't done it yet, so I'm not going to show it today, but I'm sure I will in the future. And that's the demo. If you have any questions for me, here's my contact information, and I thank you for your time.